It was all a rehearsal.
So yeah, that was all rehearsal. Now is real. Hello and welcome. So this is a sudden live, and because we got to utilize every chance and every opportunities to create impact on life. And today, after a long 6 months, I came out actually to have coffee with my good friend Dev. Hello, Dev. So we had coffee outside, and then we thought, why not visiting our office? And then we thought, okay, why not also having a short conversation? How we can work together, create impact. So we have discussed various aspects of working together with the BRAC universities, which we are going to explore. But right now we want to have conversation with Dave. So how is going on? How is life, and how is Bangladesh, and also the overall the education in Bangladesh? Hi, Dave. Good to have you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I can tell you're an entrepreneur because first we were having coffee,
right?
Then we were recording. Now we're live, you see. So one thing leads to another.
Right. So because life is all about how you actually utilize the chances and moments.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Because we don't have any more. No, that's what.
Who knows?
Yeah. So that's currently we are using. So let's talk about it. You are an educator. You're a global educator. You have been with Asian University of Women, so the international university, global standard. Now you are with BRAC University. So your experience into the Bangladesh university education. So can you share with us?
Well, yes, it was from London to Bangladesh, from Chittagong to Dhaka. And one of the things that strikes me is how similar some of the challenges are for universities all over the world. So one of the things you're interested in is how can you help graduates to strengthen their skills for employment. And I think that's a concern all over the world, actually. Always, really, there has been a scarcity of jobs.
Correct.
For good graduates.
Yeah.
You see this all ages, but more so as the numbers in higher education have increased in some areas. But I know that in Bangladesh there's a particular concern about graduates and whether they will be able to get jobs.
Right.
How can universities and entrepreneurs and others work together to increase their chances of succeeding?
Yeah, that's the whole objective of the university education, to give them, to make them employable, and also right now to make them employable, they must have this set of skills, which is must needed. Right? Do you think that university education and structure are giving them ample, structures for making them employable?
I mean, I think universities are there for lots of things. Broad, deep education. They have all sorts of roles. But it's true that helping graduates to become employable in the shorter term and the longer term is really important. And in some ways, there's some really good practice in universities.
Yeah.
Some of them are quite good at giving broad, deep education and also employment skills, this kind of thing. But there is a big shortfall, though, and I think it's part of what you're seeing in the scheme that you're creating. Now, another thing that's also very striking is what you're creating is a scheme for soft skills. Who wouldn't want to be part of it? 100 hours of free coaching, development, structured learning.
Right.
And actually, a lot of students already across Bangladesh are taking it up. You've got, 8,000 students on the books now?
Right, enrolled from all over Bangladesh. So now they are slowly going from that pipe, and they're going to pass.
Yes.
Because it's like hundreds of hours. It's not 1 hour, 2 hours. You just sit and complete. It's not a one lecture. So, and again, it's a free. So what happens? The psychology is this kind of in a semester. You're using it. You're learning it, applying it. You got to watch. You got to think. You got to do. You got to collaborate. You got to explore. It's a 5 adult learning pedagogy methodologies. Embedded learning. So it's like tools, techniques, process, which is attached with the. Sorry, we got to come back. Yeah. So now it's okay. So maybe the Right. So we got suddenly disconnected. I think let me hold it. So this is might be better. So we got like hundreds. Yeah. So we got like, so this is practical skills.
Yes.
So they are learning.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this skill development?
So I think that one of the things that strikes me about your course is that you've built in ways of helping students to check they really are learning something. That they're not just falling asleep in front of the computer. There is some real engagement with what's going on. So I think that's one of the things that impresses me about it. And I think this is highly relevant right now because we are wandering across Bangladesh about the place of online learning in education, including higher education. So how to do really active learning, high quality learning online. A lot of students are having to learn online through coronavirus, but there's a real future to online learning beyond that if we can do that. So you must be learning a lot about how you use online effectively to encourage active learning.
Right. So do you think that the future of learning also going to be into the online space more or less? What do you see from now?
Well, it's happening internationally. And I think it's true. There's a need to think about it very carefully because students across the world are having variable experience of online learning. Some of it isn't very good, but some of it is very good. And, so much has been learned over the last 20 years even about how people learn effectively. And a lot of that can be exposed and developed through online learning. So I think online learning is here to stay. And I think that your scheme is a good pointer towards how this could be developed.
Right. So we are trying. Now we got some methodologies, and that we see that this is working because we are not copying any particular model. So we are creating a model. We are applying this into this current context because it's not only the BRAC University student, it also the student coming from the from the village or from the one of the another district, which is let's imagine Borishal, let's imagine Rajshahi and Dinaspur. So our model is kind of fit in on localized version. So bringing the local community, which is our student, we are developing the talents from the local community to become even the facilitator. So we have developed 60 plus facilitators. We are developing now 25 regional leaders through a rigorous program who can take it forward. So how do you want to assess this? Like, what is your thought about?
Well, I think this is really exciting that you're developing student leaders who themselves, they're helping other students, but they're helping themselves as well, and they'll get an employment gain themselves from it. But it seems to me all over Bangladesh, there are so many young people who have this kind of leadership skill, and they want to help the country move forward. They want to help others and themselves, through the experience of leadership and entrepreneurship in various ways. And here you are creating all these opportunities for young people to do this. And you've now got quite a significant network, haven't you? A few hundred already young people who are having this sort of experience.
Right. So we have the students ambassadors. We have about 105 universities. We have got ambassadors, and we have got teams there. And now we are expanding to this year. We want to expand into close to 200 institutions. And that includes all the universities and also all the other institutions. So we got a model. Now we are just replicating it the nationwide. Because end of 5th year, we wish to serve 1 million students. So last 1 year, we are actually trying and observing, learning from mistakes, failure. We have a lot of failures. We have invested a lot. If you compare and consider from a startup, we have invested a lot, and we actually, a lot of things didn't work out. But now, after a year into this model and methodologies, now we see which works, which doesn't work. We got the tipping point.
So that's one of the soft skills in itself, learning from mistakes and failures in order to build success later on. And your own organisation has gained from that, and you're exposing that to students who can, learn this skill for themselves in their own careers. Yeah.
Right. So absolutely. So what we want to give is the tools they learn, they apply, and we connect them. The third pillar is we connect them with the market. By connecting with the employers. So that's also most important to them. And another thing what we do is building entrepreneurial mindset. It's not the entrepreneurship talking about, entrepreneurial mindset. Because we got to create job. We got to create the employment. So when they are coming to the university, so they also need to develop this kind of agile mindsets, which is missing. So because if everyone goes for job, who will create the job?
Well, I think this is one of the most interesting aspects of what you're doing. So you were just talking about getting access to the market, and I think there are a lot of students who they wonder how can they get a first job, and they try to get interviews, or they get interviews, and the employer says, "I can't take you on unless you've got some experience." And then they say, "Well, how can I get experience unless you give me a first job?" Now, this is what young graduates and young people in the UK say, as well as young people in Bangladesh. It's a worldwide concern for young people, how to get started. And I think I meet a lot of students in Bangladesh who also say, if I have no connections, it's even harder. But in your scheme, you've got employers involved, and you've got, was it the $1 billion Wadhwani Foundation taking an interest in
so the Wadhwani Foundation has, Mr. Ramesh Wadhwani, what he has done, he has donated $1 billion to his foundation. It's not to us.
Not to us. It's a shame, no.
Right.
But you become a beneficiary.
We are the beneficiary of his foundation, because that foundation has created, the robust skills platform, which is we know exactly out of 8,000 students who is where. Who is where, how many lessons they've completed, what is the score, where he stopped. 8,000 student database, those who have enrolled. So that's the kind of robust platform.
As a registrar, I envy these systems. This is to know exactly where your students are.
Every day we get to know, where our single student is stuck. Then we can call him, we can knock him. And then we have the batch administrator. We have the facilitator, we have the intern, we have the ambassadors, we have the regional leader. We pass through this, okay? Look, your batch, your student is stuck here. And also the, as you have seen, right? Our pass mark is 70%. A lot of students are stuck into the, 65% or 60%. So how do you follow up them? End of the day, we see where his achievement in individual score. And then we call, hey, you got to pass 70% if you want to have HPGC preliminary certificate, which is high potential graduate certification. So what do you think about this HPGC and a methodology?
Well, I think this is really fascinating, actually, because a lot of people who are suspicious of online learning think that it's depersonalized, that you're left on your own, struggling to learn, possibly with variable internet equipment and so on. But here you are doing a combination of online learning and direct personal support to encourage students, who need to do a bit better to get past, the threshold. And so I think there are this reminds me of some very good models internationally of support given to students to help them to pass, but also to do excellently as well. So I think this is a really powerful model for the future, the combination of online learning and face-to-face. Now, another thing I think you're also doing is that when you're a student, there's a lot of pressure to it. It can be very enjoyable too. There's a lot of pressure to it. It can get a bit lonely. And on this scheme, you can have a sense of being, supported and encouraged, even to the extent of somebody calling you to see how you're getting on. And you've also got the encouragement of knowing that employers are watching this scheme as well and actually involved in this scheme. So the people who might even give you a job or help you in that direction are already involved with you.
That's because we got to give them the incentive.
Yes.
That's the natural,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
they will learn what we are giving them?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is such a valuable thing,
Yeah.
and that's what I said. The third more pillar is connecting them with the job, employer.
Yeah.
And giving them the reward. That's a nature. Either you reward them or punish
Yes.
them, right?
Yes.
In our case, that is the punishment is if you're not passing 70%, we are not giving a certificate. That's the kind of punishment, right? So what we're saying by saying this, if you want to have reward, you have to pass it. And punishment is you put 50, 60, 70 hours, hey, put maybe another 10 hours more. Even if you have given 100 hours, but you scored a 65%, the punishment is you're not getting the final certificate, which is recognition. So that's the punishment. Then we're saying it, hey, you've given everything, only 5% more. And then here it is. So that's how we're trying to actually giving them the clarity and push to have this.
But the emphasis is on reward and encouragement, really. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's because our punishment is not the punishment.
No.
It's actually reward.
Yes.
We are giving them the achieve this reward.
Yeah. But also, I mean, we talked a bit about networking with employers and so on. But another thing is that you're going to have alumni from this scheme.
Right.
And you've got 8,000 students involved in this. And one of the things I'm conscious of as an international living here is how young a country Bangladesh is. The high proportion of the population who are young. So these young people are critical to the future of this country. And if they can gradually develop in a network of similar people, young leaders really, there's no telling what they could do together, is there? Really, what they could achieve together.
Right. So, because this world is now so complex, you said the global connectivity and global network. So how they can utilize best? So they have to learn and apply, which is applicable to the to international and global markets. Not what you see available, but what you need to make it available for you. That's what we're trying to give them. Because they are confined with the structure of the universities, the curriculum, which is is how complex it is, right? To have new approval from the
very difficult.
Very difficult. So, but even if it is like it's a 10 years or 15 years old curriculum, but still you got to carry on. But students have a choice to learn from outside of the curriculum and be equipped with what world is actually looking forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how important it is for the student to to be out, to think and go beyond the university curriculum.
I hope in time the university curriculum will be refreshed. I mean, there will be elements that will always be constant in the university curriculum. There will be things that will change and develop. So we'll see new subject areas developing, for instance, or I think a lot of it is about learning about international good practice and how students learn actually, which is one of the things I think you're interested in. So what approaches should be taken in the classroom, outside the classroom, online to encourage critical thinking skills, for instance? We know so much now internationally about the psychology of learning that we didn't know 30 years ago. Just the other day, there was a great figure called Sir Ken Robinson, a big thinker in education, and he's just died recently. But he had a lifelong campaign to encourage creativity in education. And you can see the insights from that kind of approach that need to be applied in universities in Bangladesh just as everywhere else. I think another thing that also needs to change is views of students themselves. So are students seen as partners and co-creators in education to some extent? That's important. And I think you're doing that with your student ambassadors and student leaders having a major part in the delivery of what you're doing, aren't you?
Right. So we, as you rightly said, we are also equipping them to become the facilitator, to become the leader of the community, and to practice this art of leadership. It's not only the theory. How you apply this towards the community learning. It's a community learning. You apply to the community. You showcase the leadership. You communicate them, connect them, persuade them, and lead them, and become the facilitator So we are developing the facilitation skills from, we have done 68 so far students, second batch. Third batch we are going to do. Maybe another 40 students would come as a facilitator. We'll be developing them. We're developing the regional leaders. So there are underneath some of the learning program we are building, because this is a fundamental foundation. We see the long-term vision, long-term value. It's not only the short-term we want to gain. This is a free model. We are testing it. Now we got a certain point where we are 100% now sure this is replicable, this is doable, and this is sustainable. And this is, we have done so far so many things. So yes, you're correct. We are creating the resources from the community, not from center, but from within the community of the localized version of the leadership and facilitator. Because end of the day, they got to run this model towards their universities and their campuses. A lot of them has the talent. We are amazed to see how they're actually responding. I'm sure you have seen it from the Asian University of Women and also from BRAC University, and you came across a lot of students as well, don't they?
Well, just arriving at BRAC University a few weeks ago, meeting some of the members of the Entrepreneurs Development Group and seeing how resourceful they are, or AUW students, working with students, living with other students from 19 different countries and just getting used to being able to move between cultures, appreciating cultures. And it seems to me, you actually can see that in every university in the country, youth organizations all over the country, how many young people there are in Bangladesh who just do have these sorts of talents actually. And they're out there, they're active, and they're already contributing in various ways. But I think, again, part of the value of what you're doing is that you're supported by an international network of business people, educational thinkers, international foundations. And it's a reminder to everyone taking part that, the competition, but also opportunities for collaboration and resources and so on are immediately available all over the world. I never thought I would work internationally. There I was, just suddenly finding myself in Bangladesh, and this is becoming perfectly normal nowadays.
Right.
And this is the kind of reality that you're kind of reinforcing and introducing to your students.
Right. So where do you see the future of this model and education? Just my last question to you.
Well, I think it has a lot of future, partly in expansion. That you've got to the point now where you can see how you could scale up this model to serve very many more students. So that's part of it. Another part of it, I think, is in its contribution to the worldwide search for good practice in teaching and learning. How do you balance residential learning, which has its real value? And we can see that in BRAC University, the place of the residential semester, so important to actually live with people for a while and to experience being with each other and learn from each other, alongside online learning, personal support of the kind that you're offering through your online package. All of these models can be brought together in some quite exciting dynamic ways. And it seems to me in Bangladesh, there's some really good opportunities for this country to be part, of that as well. So I think that you've got something very significant to say, but not just in Bangladesh, many countries to come. So I think this will probably expand to quite a number of countries in the time to come, really.
Right. So definitely, we are now implementing it in Bangladesh.
Yes.
But definitely, we have an eye to go internationally once we preliminarily cover this Bangladesh market, because this is huge. Millions of students and job seekers, young professionals, fresh graduates, they're coming up. Correct. So thank you for your time, Dev. It is wonderful today. First we had coffee, we had chit chat, we had conversations.
Then we come in here and go live.
and live, and we are in office. I think in the last 6 months, this is first time I'm outside of having coffee with somebody, and
it's a relief, really.
Right.
To actually do it,
Right.
Well, I'm going back into lockdown now, coronavirus lockdown down the road. So it's been really good to come out for a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dev. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Those are watching right now, it was Sudden Live. right, surprise live. Now we are at my office.
Yeah.
So we had coffee and then we are having the conversation actually
Yeah,
how we can build this
Yeah.
robust model
Yeah.
in collaboration with the BRAC University and having this model established at BRAC University, and because you have got thousands of students and this is international standard. So that's what we are discussing. Hopefully we can come up with a robust solution, and till then stay tuned and don't forget to watch tonight's our SAP talk with Karim. So tonight we're bringing the Vice Chancellor of Maulana Bhashani University of Science and Technology, MBISTU, right? So that's tonight at 9 p.m. Stay tuned, and a lot more things are coming up.
Going straight back to what.
Right. Thank you for staying, and thanks Dave again for your time and effort and for making it available. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.